Good morning, Bonnie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Is it Thursday or is it Friday or is it Wednesday or Tuesday or what day?
It's Thursday. It's just all of them together, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I cannot keep anything straight. And the bad thing is, in normal times, I can't remember anything unless it's written down in my calendar and I look at the calendar. And usually I can look at it the night before, the day of, and
Yeah.
remember everything that's going on that day,
Yeah.
but nothing farther. And now it's like hour by hour. If I haven't looked at my calendar in that hour, I miss things that I looked at twice 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, I remember times when I would think, wow, if I could just have a 6-week hiatus, all of the things that I could get done, And then I found myself for the first week or two just kind of floating around, not accomplishing a whole lot of anything until I made myself really grab it by the horns and say, okay, what are we going to do? So the first thing we do when we hear that this is coming is run out and grab a puppy from the Humane Society, because everybody needs a puppy under quarantine. But actually, it's been a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
Have loved it. She's kept me active. She's a year old, and she's an Australian Kelpie, which is so funny because I've received all of these emails, mostly from Australians who say, do you know what you have? Do you know how much exercise this dog needs? Do you know the mental stimulation this dog needs? And then I reply back that I love to hike. I love to walk. We live in the country. I have 42 acres. There's lots of room to run. And this dog is keeping us active. So that's one good thing that's happened. The other thing that I found that's really helped me is to plan my day ahead of time, and try to keep to some kind of schedule. All of the jokes about, I think I'll wear, my third pair of pajamas. And when summer comes, do we just cut the pajamas off at the knees to make shorts? It's not helping. So really, I think planning things has really helped. So if I look at my day and know that by 10 a.m. what I'm cooking for dinner that night, that stops the whole 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Peanut butter again.
We were doing really good at that for about 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, yay, all the kids are home. Well, 3, I've got 2 kids who are supposed to be here and 1 extra. And I was like, they're all home. They don't have to go anywhere. We can do my thing finally where you cook dinner this night, you cook dinner this night, and Sunday we talk about it. So we make sure we have all the ingredients, and that's just gone.
It's gone out the window. My thing is that, okay, how many times in the last month have we had this same thing? Oh, I guess it's chicken again. It's chicken, pork, beef, leftovers, chicken, pork, beef, leftovers. So, but it's helped, and I'm amazed at how much money we've really saved by not eating out, because we would be really guilty of going out at least a couple of times a week. It's like, because I waited until 5 o'clock to decide what was for dinner. Yeah. And so that's really helping with the budget and everything. Of course, when your whole income has pretty much stopped, you're not on the road teaching anymore. You're not lecturing right now. You may have a small online store going, which is what's behind me right here. But you have to make some sacrifices in other places to make the ends meet. And I know it's really scary for a lot of people. I can't imagine what it would be like to work some non-essential job, like maybe you're a nail tech or you're a hairstylist or a tattoo artist, whatever you are, and then all of a sudden you're just closed. And
my daughter's a caterer.
It's got to be so super scary. So those are the folks that are on my mind right now.
Yeah. And it makes you, like, my daughter lost her job, and they had just that week moved into a new apartment so she could walk to work that was twice as expensive as their other one.
Right.
And her husband's a flight instructor, so his work is like whoever chooses to still come, so they're both driving grocery delivery service. She started
Oh
making
my
masks.
word.
I sent her what was left. I actually used up so much
Oh my
of my stash making masks, and then I was kind of glad to give the rest of it to her because I was
Yeah.
so tired of
Yeah.
yes, which then that feeling makes me feel guilty, right? That
Right.
I'm so tired of this, but then there's healthcare workers out there still just
They're asking for masks. I've been doing masks on the side in between everything else because I'm running a mystery quilt, a free mystery right now, and that releases every Monday. So like I'm scrambling just a few days ahead of everybody else to get the next round on myself.
yeah.
Oh, if you see activity behind me back here, the cat's having a bath. Sorry guys, don't do anything really inappropriate. But the masks have put me in contact with people in my community who I hadn't met before, through other people. I would deliver to a family down the road and ask them, do you know of anybody who's in need of masks? Well, yes. Well, we know so-and-so. Do you know so-and-so? Nope, I don't, but they have, a husband and the wife is going through chemo for something else and she's really going to need it. So make that up and get that off to them. And so for me, it's mostly been word of mouth. I've not been doing the hundreds
Yeah.
that some people who have that availability. Praise to them because that is so awesome. But I think it's something that will continue. So it's also important to those who are on the front mask making lines not to burn yourself out. We're in for the long haul.
Right. I took a break.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
did the piles, the giant piles,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I did family members, which for me that was like 40 siblings and their kids, family members,
Oh my word.
and then another pile. And now I'm taking a break. I also
Yeah.
used up all of my batiks. All I have left is my small scraps and my hand dyed stash.
Yeah. And I think it's important to refuel your own creative energy instead of just being assembly line mode for something that, gets tedious. It's time to take a breather and we'll get back to it. And I just throw them in here and there in between other things.
Oh, can I tell you something fun?
Yeah.
I am part of a neighborhood quilt bee it's this quilt bee that's been in my neighborhood. And I was here for 10 years before I found out about it and crashed the party. I was like,
Oh,
how did I not know there was a quilt bee here? And they are the biggest Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt fans ever.
oh my word.
They are going to freak when they're like, oh, so say hi to my ladies.
Hi, ladies. How are you? Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, for real. Two of them have a timeshare at the ocean, and their February week they share, and it's quilt week, and they'll go early and in the morning, and for 1 week they sew Bonnie
They sew
Hunter.
and they sew and they sew and they sew and
Yeah,
they sew and
they'll sew it like a king size Bonnie Hunter quilt with tiny. And every afternoon they go for the first time I went with them, we're going for a short walk this afternoon. Okay, fine. 4 hours later, I had blisters on my feet. I was like, this is not a short walk.
4 hours? Where did you guys go? Like the next county?
I know, right? They're in Ocean Isle. Maybe it was only 2 hours. I'm probably exaggerating. I did have blisters.
Oh my gosh. But
and
how
I learned after that, when I go for a walk, I look at my watch and say, okay, I'm halfway done. See ya.
Now, Ocean Isle, is that out by the Outer Banks?
Yeah, it's on the southern one of the.
I've lived North Carolina for over 12 years now, and I've not been to the Outer Banks yet. I know, right? It is maybe a 4.5, 5 hour drive from me.
Yeah,
from where I am, Winston
beautiful
area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice place to go.
So
what else? So you are doing your mystery quilts just in time.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I know exactly how that goes.
This was supposed to be next winter's mystery.
Mm.
But when this whole thing said, I said, okay, you guys, what do you think about this idea? So we're starting with the medallion in the center, and each week is another round to add to it. And it eventually comes out about full size. But this is also leaving me with no plan for my winter mystery that happens Black Friday. So as soon as this is revealed, guess who's going to scramble and
Do
try
the
to
next
catch
thing.
it up. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been really really fun, and the pieces are easy. I mean, there's half square triangles, flying geese, some
Mhm.
chevron stuff, but just your basic units. And so each week is like a little lesson on the best way, or several different best ways that you can do all of those. And the colors that people have chosen have just been fabulous. So if anybody wants to check that out, go over to Instagram and search for the hashtag Unity Quilt Along, one word. She's going to write that down. And you can see what other people have been doing that way. It's easy to see.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
On Instagram, you said?
On Instagram, yeah.
Yep. I'll put the link right here so people
Perfect.
can see it.
Perfect.
Awesome. How have you, you got a puppy. I was going to ask you again, how have you been coping? You got a puppy. That kind of takes care of everything.
Holy cow! This dog, she is absolutely insane. I put her bed near the sliding glass doors at my sewing room where we live at our little cabin. And she loves to, she just looks out there. And it's at 42 acres on the side of a mountain. And so she sees down quite a ways down the mountain. She can see a chipmunk this big, like a half a mile away. And she's jumping at the window. She wants to be let out so bad. And if you let her out, she is gone. Now she comes back, luckily. But I don't think there's any containment system for this dog. I just don't think so. I think she will blast right through it and figure that the pain is worth the gain, and she's just gonna go. But she's
You have the
really
space
good.
for it, so it's good.
Yeah, I have the space for it. She's really good. We lost our other dog last November, so it took about 4 months, but life is better with a dog. I'm turning my phone off. Sorry, guys. My dad, and I know that's who it is. I'm gonna put this on just silent. We have a family text thing, my
Mhm.
dad and my brother and I. And my dad last Thanksgiving said, you guys, I'm 80 now, and you guys need to check in on me every day. And I said, well, Dad, you're the retired one. How about you text us a message when you wake up? So he's in Phoenix, giving me the
I'm
I'm
waking up
still
now.
alive. I woke up. And it's really important to stay in touch with your family members, especially during this time.
Yeah.
So do you have like a sibling hotline on your phone for all the siblings?
We
Text.
we do have the ones who want to text together for a while now, about a year and a half now. One of them started just sending silly texts and they're ridiculous, which is why a
Yeah,
few of them really don't want to get the text. They're like, I'm actually working over here. I don't need to see a picture of the charcuterie board you just made, because we have
yeah.
an ongoing competition to see who can make the wildest or most
Uh-huh.
interesting charcuterie
Uh-huh.
board. And yeah, so that's fabulous. And then with this, we have started Zoom all together, having a
Yeah.
big chat every Sunday, and that's been delightful to see everybody's faces, because my family, I'm the oldest of six, and then my parents, my aunt and uncle. I have two daughters who live in different states. None of us live anywhere close.
No.
I think the
Yeah.
closest is I'm an 8-hour drive from my oldest daughter, and that's the closest any of us live.
Wow.
So it's really lovely to be together. And then my mom and dad just got a cell phone they finally got one that works where they are. They're on 80 acres on the side top of a rural mountain in northern Idaho, so they've never had.
Oh my word. Yeah.
And somehow now they have something that works. But it's always delightful where my mom will start a new text, and they just don't quite know how everything works.
No, it's just cuter than anything. Yeah.
It is, and
So
it's adorable. And
my
so,
mom's the same. It's like my brother got her a smartphone, and
mhm.
she wanted to know how to use it, so she contacted me. I said, no. No. Rick gave you the phone. Go talk to Rick. 'Cause, ugh, That is so cute. It's
It
just so,
is.
yeah.
But it's how grateful am I that we have this technology that lets us see our loved ones and have these just quick little check-ins. I love the gamut, the
Yeah.
range of ways we have. When my whole family grew up in Utah, and then I was the first to move out far away to North Carolina, and we didn't have, I mean, back in the days where you had to pay for long distance phone
Oh
calls.
my gosh, yeah. Or you'd get the little phone card thing that you'd load it up, and then
Right.
yeah.
No email. It was before email even. And I just remember how amazing it was just to get emailed, because we would just write letters because, as you can see, my family never stops talking. So if we ever did call, it would be a $50 call because we just
Long distance was expensive, expensive, expensive. Yeah, I remember that.
was.
Yeah.
But when I got email, it's like all of a sudden I'm back in the life of the rest of the family, because in a letter they just wrote the top layer details, but in an email they could check in every couple days, and I started hearing about the stuff that my younger siblings were doing, and then now this is like we're living in Star Trek. It's amazing.
This is so cool. I just want you to know this is like my first Zoom ever.
Oh, I'm so honored.
I know. I had to download the software. It's like, oh, this better work. This better work.
It works.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. You did good.
Yay.
So are you working on any personal quilting projects?
I am. In fact, you're talking about all your small little leftover pieces of batiks.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the small leftover cut off triangles and little, I can't throw it away. Oh, she's gonna get one. Okay. So, and this shirt just came out of the dryer and it's all wrinkly. I'm sorry about that.
So you have to know that I am not a piecer. I hate piecing, but I was so sad to see all my batiks go away that I have a Scrap Master template thing for half square triangles, and look what I have done.
Oh my gosh, that
They're like one
terrible. But see, you need like 68 more of those so that you can make something. There she goes.
And they're all, I start with the biggest size and then just keep cutting half square triangles till that tiny scrap is down to nothing, and those I'll throw away.
And then, yeah.
And so this is how you know I've gone absolutely stark raving insane that I'm piecing things.
But it's fun. And it's really fun to dibble dabble a little bit here and there. You don't have to lock yourself into one genre.
That's what it is right now. It's just it's one of the mindless, I don't knit, so I guess it's my knitting replacement.
I never got the knitting thing. I can crochet. It's been years, but I can crochet. But I don't know. See, I'm the piecer. I'm the piecer. So doing the piecing thing is fun. So I've been working on some snail's trail blocks that are fairly small, from all of those cut off triangles, starting with the small ones in the middle, going bigger, 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 bigger. Do I have a second to grab a couple?
Oh yeah.
They're like on the floor. Okay, hang on.
Do, 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 do.
Wide angle camera, you get the whole thing here. All right, so I started out and I found these baggies of leftover 4 patches. So it's like, well, what can we do with these? So then I dug into the boxes of the cut-off triangles, and I'm paper piecing these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I center the 4 patch on the paper template, and then go around. And then it got to the point where these big triangles on the outside end are so large that I didn't have them in small scraps, which made me cut them out of like charm squares and stuff. So, but there is stuff in here trying to find okay. I remember this fabric. My son was born in 1983. And I was pushing his little umbrella stroller through the mall to the little house of fabrics to comb through the remnants to try to find, because there weren't fat quarters invented yet in 1983. So, but I don't know, maybe your readers will will recognize this red print.
Calico.
Oh yeah, and this one, just terrible. But I can't get rid of this stuff because, so we just sew it up. And I throw in the new batiks and the more modern fabrics and the novelties and the whatever, and I just play. And I hope that 50 years from now somebody will say, man, this woman was really psycho. So she was really psycho, but she had a really good time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's a high functioning mental disorder.
yeah. Well, we were talking earlier before we started recording about, I asked what sewing machine you like to sew on. And you mentioned that you like to sew on a mechanical Bernina.
Mm-hmm.
And I sew on vintage machines. My favorite is a Singer 301 from 1957, straight stitch only, but I'm cheating on these because I have a Janome with a thread cutter. And when you're paper piecing from the center out and you're not going edge to edge across the foundation, it is a pain in the butt to sew for an inch and have thread tails.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm secretly cheating on a modern computerized machine.
It's your fault that I bought a Singer, I think it's a 57 Rocketeer.
Oh, I love that one. That 500. It's a 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Oh, I love it. It came with a cabinet and everything. So I've refinished the cabinet, and the machine sews beautifully, but I'm taking it apart bit by bit and pimping it up, and it's candy apple red and white.
I need to see this machine.
When I get it done, I'll take pictures.
When you get it done, because they are awesome. I've got one of those sitting on the table here too. If it weren't for my sewing machines, I honestly don't know what I'd do. And for the people that don't have hobbies out there, get one, because you're going to go stark raving mad.
I read in an industry report just yesterday that sales of sewing machines, like, they're out of stock everywhere because everybody's doing this thing. I think this is maybe a good thing for our industry.
Yes.
Right?
Mask making is the gateway drug to quilting. So yeah, but if it weren't for this, we've got our community.
Yeah,
we've got people that we connect with through our hobby, which is also our livelihood. But for those folks who, I'm thinking how grateful I am that my husband also has hobbies, because he loves to fix things. He loves to work on things. He is very interested in archery. So when the weather's nice, I find him out there playing bows and arrows and and shooting at targets and whatever.
I have bows and arrows all over the bonus room that I'm like, you have to find another place besides the floor.
Well, if the rain would stop, they could go do it outside. But so he has his things that he likes to do. So at least neither of us are in the recliner with the remote, doing this, unless it's like 9 o'clock at night.
Right. Good.
So, yeah. And I think maybe this is an opportunity for husbands and wives who've been married for what feels like forever, who are now finding themselves 24/7 in the same four walls, to rediscover what it was that attracted you to each other in the first place.
Yeah, that's a lovely thought.
Yeah.
I should try that.
Yeah, go get a hobby. You're driving me nuts.
Mine is fantastic.
Yeah. What does your hubby do?
He's a computer guy, so he's working from home, but he gets up early and starts at like 7 because he has an idea, and then by 7 at night it's like, honey, can you stop now, please?
Yeah.
But during the middle of the day, he'll go for a bike ride. He's still really active. He loves fixing things, cars.
Yeah.
He loves driving cars fast.
Oh boy.
He has a Subaru that he takes out to motocross events where they put on a helmet and they're on an old tarmac, and they've got the cones up and they have a timer and they go zoom as fast as they can through all the cones. So that's
as long as he's having fun and he's entertained, he's out of your hair, you get to sew. That's all good.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
Yeah. My hubby works from home also. He works as an accountant for Corning in New York, but he's telecommuted for the past more than 5 years now.
Mm.
So he says that it doesn't feel like anything is different in his world, other than you can't do the group things, and no movie theater, no in the grocery store thing is weird, and whatever. But other than that, we feel really lucky to be where we are.
Good. Well, is there any last things you want to say to our people?
I know that it's really, really easy to get discouraged, especially if you feel that you're trapped, and that you've had your privileges taken away or whatever. But I think if we turn it around and realize that we're not the little kid being sent to timeout in our room, right? That where we are is for our health and for our safety, and to stay out of the way of those who are trying to help others out in the world. That the further that we stay away from what's going on, the less we will add to the problem. Right. And we'll get through this. I know we'll get through this. Everything is temporary. This will pass. Yeah. It may pass like a kidney stone, but this will pass. Ouch. So, but I would say, if you're feeling a little bit blue, phone a friend. Read something uplifting, play some music, take a bubble bath, paint your toes, play with some fabric, start a new project, eat some chocolate, take a walk if you can, and we'll get through this. I think the most important thing is that we don't get discouraged. Right. I mean, the best thing I heard was that if you feel like this is too long and nothing is happening, it's because it's working. Right. Because we're flattening the curve. Right. Because staying home is how we're saving the life of your neighbor who's immune compromised and you don't know it, or the mom over there who's recovering from leukemia, or you might be fine. I think that the numbers are lower than they projected because we are doing what they suggested. Right. So so keep loving each other by staying home. Yes, I love you from 6 feet away. Then stay home when you can. And my best to all of those who are out there amongst the workforce. They are our heroes. The ones that, the Amazon delivery driver, the semi truck pulling whatever that just went past my window, the grocery store worker, the person at the pharmacy. We need these people, and they're going home and they're going home to their family every day hoping they didn't pick up something from one of us. Right. So wear your mask. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. It's so much fun to talk to you. It's wonderful to talk to you. I hope we get to do this again. I do too. Bye-bye.